Okay, so very good morning, students. I hope my voice is audible in your end. Okay, so I'm very much happy and delighted to participate in the space trash event by today. And tips is much more associated to me because my son is also studied in the Indian public school and he's also studied in the Montessori in Tyndall. Like you, he was studying from pre-KG to fifth standard in TIPS, and then sixth standard he shifted to Senadipati Palayam, okay, in the TIPS school. So we are always associated with the Indian public school. Okay, so I thank Madam for giving this opportunity. So it is very happy and pleasure to meet you all. Okay, to discuss more about the space trash. Okay, and what as the students we can do some mechanism for space trash. Okay, shall we go to the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share my entire screen. I hope my screen is visible to you at your end.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So let us take that screenshot and let us make a thing. Okay, fine. Can you able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So today we are going to discuss much about on this space junk. Okay, so we are all associated with the space. Okay, so in the space we can we can able to see there are so much of junk. So this is called as the junk. Okay, let us say that our this is our Earth. Okay, and this Earth are surrounded by these tiny substances. Can you know what is this tiny substances?
So broken parts of satellites or
Uh,
asteroids.
okay, okay, very good, very good, very good. Okay, so we'll be seeing one by one. So, in this particular thing, why we want to study the space crash? Okay, because everybody will be having an idea that why I want to understand about this space crash. You might have studied about the space crash with some of the textbooks or some websites or some videos. Collectively, we know that it is a dust or it is a waste or it is a bin. Okay, we normally call it as a bin. Okay, so which is available in the space where we are making all the dust particles over there, and we are also want to see what are the effects of this space crash. Okay? Let us say that something. Okay, space crash is one of the very global problem. Okay, so it is going to give a threat for the global. Okay, and also it possesses the threat for human safety. Okay, so as far as safety is concerned, it is a very big threat. Okay, we can say that space is some distance away from us. Okay, it is much more distance to us. You can ask a question: how it will provide a safety threat for the human? Okay, so we cannot say by today or tomorrow. In the near future, it is going to become a very big global threat. Okay, and all this space junk, they're traveling at a speed of 70,500 miles per hour. Okay, for an example, even if you want to travel in a train, okay, so it was moving or traveling by 200 kilometers per hour or 100 kilometers per hour or more than that. Please experience that the speed is very higher. Then you imagine that the speed by which it travels is very, very more. Okay, and these kind of debris means it's a waste particles. Okay, so these kind of waste particles will be from 1 centimeter in size. Okay, that may be approximately of more than 1 million of population. So the waste population is around 1 million. If you consider in the earth, if there are some debris, we peoples can take the debris and throw it, okay, and put it in the dustbin, or we safely evacuate that those debris. who will do all these things in the space? Okay. Now we can able to understand that there is one waste is over here and another waste is over here. Since some revolution is takes place in the space, these two debris will collide with each other. Okay. So collide means they will combine with each other. Okay. They will attack each other. So when the two debris are attacking each other, it will create an effect called cascading effect. Okay. In this effect, they will create much more debris of small sizes. It's just like when the two stones are combined with each other, we are getting some small stones. Same way that we normally call it as a cascading effect. Okay, so it is making it very impossible for the safe operation in the space. We need a safe operation in the space for doing some space research, but because of this, it is impossible for doing some safe operation in the space. And these kind of debris can remain in Earth's orbit for centuries. As I already given you, these kind of debris, they are located for centuries and centuries. Okay, it has been moving across the world, okay, across in the space, across the Earth's orbit. Okay, so across the Earth's orbit, it was like this particular, this is called as a junk. Okay, this is the normally a junk. So in the history, we can able to see there is only one real event where one of the debris, okay, it fallen on the earth. It fallen on the earth. That is only one event was reported as of now. Okay. So as per this ESA, what is ESA? ESA is called European Space Agency, as like NASA in America and as like ISRO in India. This is called as the European Space Agency. Okay, so they mentioned in their report, it was given at 2022, that is, they're saying that the pieces of space debris is more than over 30 million. Okay, 30,000. It's not 30 million, that's a 30,000. As we already mentioned that the piece of the debris objects is approximately 1 million. So where we can able to see as per their report, they mentioned that the debris is over 30,000 because every countries, they are sending their satellites and every country they want to send the satellites. Okay. Can I ask a question? Why the countries are sending the satellites?
So it's because the space is going to be the space is going to be the leftover place. So every country is going to research for the future.
Okay. Very good, very good, very good. Okay. So there are so many reasons why we are sending the satellites. Okay. I will tell you later about the reason for sending the satellite. Now you can able to see this is the for space debris that has cost in 2017. Okay, you can able to see one satellite is hit by other objects, and you can able to see how the objects was pierced into small pieces, and these pieces will be rotating in the form of debris across the periphery. Okay, can you able to see this video? That is, a satellite is hit by another object. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, either the satellite is a working satellite or a non-working one, or the object is a working one or a non-working one. When these two things are collide each other, that is the resulting of a debris. Okay, this is the space junk or space trash, what we normally consider. Here we think about the space debris. You can able to see these are not like a birds. Okay, you can able to see more and more satellites are revolving across the earth. I will tell you the need for satellite later. Okay, but you should understand that these satellites, because every country they are positioning the satellite in one particular position. Okay, so they want to do some research. Okay, for that they are keeping the satellite across the world. Okay, and these satellites are positioned in some place, but due to some kind of movement, there are be the chances that these satellites will collide with other objects. You can able to see how much of chunk is located across the Earth's orbit. Okay, even talk about inside the Earth also, there is more number of pollution. outside the Earth's orbit also, there is more number of pollution, okay, which makes a big threat for humans. This is the scope why we want to understand about the debris. In 1957, you can able to see how the Earth orbit looked like. We talk about this is called as the Earth's orbit across the periphery. Okay, it was very clean. And after 1957, some countries they started to send the satellites and other kind of space research objects. You can able to see how the debris layer has been formed across the Earth's periphery. In 2018, you can able to see how many things because the population is increasing. So, in order to meet the requirement of the people, the each and every country, it is also the pride moment for every country to send the satellites. And we also monitoring the status of the satellite. But when the satellite hits by other objects, when the satellite fails, okay, it is not in our control. It's beyond our control. That makes a debris. You just imagine how much of debris we'll imagine about in 2030. Okay, so our Earth will be over here. You can able to see the orbit is completely packed with either working satellites or non-working satellites. So all the thing it makes a very big chunk in the Earth's orbit. So let us talk about one event that has been takes place in 1997 in January 22. Okay, so one of the debris from the space, it was hitted a woman. Okay, in a place called Oklahoma in United States. Okay, so her name is Lottie Williams. Okay, she experienced her 5 inch, that is a 12.7 centimeter. It's just like a scale. What you're using a scale, from 0 to 15 centimeter scale you're using, no? So in that particular size, she got a object that was hit on her shoulder. Okay, so that object, when they made a research, they found that it is a debris of a US made Delta II rocket. Okay, so which they made from for the space research. It was launched by United States. So from that particular object, she got the debris. It was fallen from the space to the Earth. It was the Earth. It has hit the lady. Okay, but fortunately, she escaped unharmed. This is the only one event in the history. Okay, like this, in the future, we may experience that even at 12.7 centimeter. Okay, it is from the US made Delta II rocket. Like this, in the future, we may experience more kind of debris, even it can fall in the Earth's surface. It does not mean that it is the only one event. There may be so many events also. There may be so many events also. But those events the debris may would have been fallen in the sea. Okay, the debris would have been fallen in the forest. Okay, or the debris would have been fallen the earth that was not noticed by the human. There may be so much of thing, but since it was noticed by the human, it was in the history. Okay, this is one of the event, but the more worst thing is happening in the space above. Okay, we may expect such kind of debris will be falling in the near future. Okay, so since it is about 12.7 centimeter long, so it was hit at her shoulder and she was escaped. Okay, sometimes instead of the shoulder, if it was fallen on her head or if it has fallen on a small children, okay, it will be a very harmful. So that is the reason we should understand that space trash is very important topic. What every kids need to know these things. Now let us say that there is a point of collision. Okay. For an example, let us take about two different space objects. So one of the object is coming in this direction and another object is coming in this direction. Okay. Let us assume that you talk about on a satellite or any kind of space object. Okay. What happened in 2009? Okay. So let us take about the two communication satellites. I will explain more about this communication satellite later. So these two communication satellites, okay, so one is coming in this direction, one is coming in this direction. At one fine day, what had happened, it was accidentally collided in this particular, it's like an accident. So one vehicle is coming over here and another vehicle is coming over here. At one fine situation, it was collided. So it was collided at the speed of 11.7 kilometer per second and an altitude of 780 kilometer above Serbia. Okay. So now what had happened? One of the satellite became dysfunctional. Okay. So even after collision, sometimes it was operational, and after 1995, it became not operational. So this collision, there are more than 2,000 tractive fragments. Okay. So now what is happening? The scene number one, two satellites are colliding, and after 20 minutes, okay, it is creating a debris field like this. You can able to see other outside the satellite. This is the debris. Okay. After 50 minutes, you can able to see how the debris in the field has been created. Okay. So this is the thing. When the two satellites are collided, what is one of the events took place in the history. Now we talk about Kessler syndrome. Actually, we know syndrome is like a disease. Okay. So when this particular thing or collisions or takes place, these kind of collisions can budget another collisions. What is meant by budget? Budget means when the two satellites are colliding with each other, that will create some small object. These small objects will again collide. They will create further small object. These further small objects also will collide and will create us much more smaller objects. Okay, so we can able to understand the European source. They mentioned that in the future there will be more number of debris. Okay, and now we are increasing the Earth's orbit with the density of objects like satellites. Okay, and it's more number of space research. Okay, so this causes the chain reaction of collisions. This is the what I've drawn now. This is a chain reaction. Okay, two persons are fighting. They are creating so many small objects. These small objects are again colliding and create much more smaller. This is the chain reaction that is called Kessler syndrome. So according to the NASA report in 2023, recently, they mentioned that there are about 8,767 satellites in space that are still operational. Okay, so we can able to understand that this is the chart given by the NASA. So as per there are total number of objects in this particular graph, and this is the number of debris. Okay, and this is called as the mission related debris, and this is the green color is called as the rocket related debris. Okay, so this is the number of objects in the y-axis, and this is called as a year in the x-axis. So as per the report, we can able to understand that all the graph is further increasing only. Okay, number of satellites are increasing, number of debris are increasing, and number of rocket-related debris are increasing. Okay, so if you look like this historical spike, we can able to see that as given by NASA. Okay, so more and more number of debris are increasing. Okay, from the starting of the space research. Now in India, what is the steps taken from ISRO? Can anyone tell me what is meant by ISRO? Can anyone tell me what is meant by ISRO?
Indian Space Research Organization.
Where it is located? What does it mean? What they are doing there in the ISRO?
Space research.
Okay.
Sir, even they have taken
Uh,
a step to monitor all the space science, called NETRA.
I can't get you what you're saying.
Sir, even they took a step to monitor all the inactive and active space.
Okay. Satellites. You're telling about satellites, right? You're telling about they are monitoring how many satellites are active and how many satellites are inactive. Am I right?
What are they moving?
And what are the satellites are moving? So they are taking some measures to avoid collisions in the Earth's orbit. Okay. In 2022, the ISRO conducted 22 maneuvers. Okay, to prevent satellites from colliding. From maneuvers means they made some kind of strategies. We call it's a strategies. So that is we are what we are going to do. Sometimes when the two satellites are about to collide, the maneuver is they're changing the direction of one of the satellites to avoid collision. Okay, so they are monitoring that which are the satellites are about to collide. So they are creating some maneuvers. Maneuvers mean some strategies. So these strategies will help us in order to avoid the collision between the two satellites. But it requires the continuous monitoring. So when we are not monitoring the satellites, what will happen? It will about to collide. Okay. So we can able to understand that the maximum number of threat objects or fragments from the cosmos, iridium collision, and Fengdian 1C Chinese collision. So these are the collision that has been takes place. So the International Space Station in Leo, what is meant by Leo?
Low Earth orbit.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. There are so many orbits are there. One is called Leo, one is called Geo. What is Geo? So one is Leo and one is called Geo. So in the low equator orbit, the International Space Station, they provided 32 strategies, okay, during the years of 1999 to 2022 to avoid this collision. Dodge means to avoid these collisions. So on average, the European agency, they are taking nearly 12 kind of strategies to avoid the collisions. Okay. So when the low Earth orbit, that's called the LEO, when it gets congested and polluted, the future of human space will be at risk. Okay. We are always talking about both space research and also the humans will be at risk. So what is the source of the space debris? Okay, so we know that space debris is a waste or it is called as a trash. Okay, what is the source? According to the head of Spaceport Cornwall, Melissa Quinn, they say that satellites are the major sources. What is the role of a satellite? Okay, satellites, it provides help for our people, it improves the economy, it improves the security, and also it is a vital for the earth. Okay. So, but using these satellites, okay, so it is helps to benefit the people, but makes the planet at risk. Okay. We want to balance both the things. Satellites are much more helpful, but the meanwhile, what is happening? It makes our space much more risky. So, and in the Holger Crack, who is the head of the European Space Agency, he mentioned that the biggest contributor, okay, will be in addition to the satellite, okay, it will be caused by the leftover fuel and batteries and spacecrafts and rockets, okay, and the fuel tanks and batteries. These makes much of the contribution for the space debris. So not only a satellite, okay. In addition to satellite, even a non-working onboard spacecrafts, rockets, batteries, electronic items, and these things create the biggest contribution for the space debris. Now let us say that in a video I'm going to show you how the sources of debris. So here in this video we are going to watch. Okay, a red color marked one will be the satellites. Either the satellites is working or not working, and yellow color will be the rockets, and green color will be some kind of objects. Okay, and blue color will be the fragmentation debris. And we can able to see how many colors. So these colors shows the red colors shows the satellites. Even it is a working satellites or non-working satellites. We're able to see the tiny yellow color. They are the rocket bodies. You can see some kind of green here and there. There are mission-related objects for undergo the space research. And blue color, you can able to see. That's called as the fragmentation debris. Okay. This is the space trash. Okay. We can able to see how it was making the things. Okay. And how it creates more and more. the things. Okay, we can able to understand that how much of things related to the investment and how much of the harmful which we are witnessing. Okay, so this is the thing what every student should understand, that our earth is not only polluted inside, our earth is also polluted outside. How to overcome all these things? What are the steps we want to take? Either we are doing that, how we are just making a count of how many satellites are working and how many satellites are not working. That is the count which we are doing. Okay, but meanwhile, so this is the debris. When the centimeter of the individual debris objects are greater than 1 centimeter, okay, we can able to see how the debris are equally moving across the Earth's orbits, which makes the Earth much more. It disturbs the Earth. So internally, the human beings are disturbing the Earth. Externally, also the Earth is much more disturbed. All these disturbs are made by who? Who is disturbing the Earth? Anyone? Who is disturbing the Earth internally and externally?
Humans.
Humans. Yes, very good. So internally, inside the Earth, humans are disturbing the Earth by pollution. Similarly, externally to the Earth, the humans are disturbing with the help of the satellites for benefit to make a benefit for them. They are making these orbits. Okay, this video was released by European Space Agency in order to make everyone to understand the need. This is the present, okay, 2023 report. You just imagine, even many countries are about to send so many satellites. So these are some of the sources for space debris. Okay, in the equal percentage, we have given in the different kind of percentage, like unknown. So we don't know how the debris are created. 14 percentage, deliberate about 23, the breakup events, and also propulsion, collision, electrical debris. Okay, we talk about some kind of subsystems, electrical subsystems. I will tell about those subsystems in the forthcoming slides. We talk about on the debris due to solar panels. Solar panels. Okay. So we know that, and also some kind of aerodynamics of the satellites. Okay. These are some of the satellites and battery and the collision of the satellites and the propulsion thing of the satellites and deliberations. And these are the some of the sources, okay, of space debris. Who tracks this orbital debris? Who is responsible? Okay. So we know that ISRO assessment in 2021 report, they made use of a radar and optical telescopes. Okay, so in the ground stations, I will tell about what is meant by ground stations. Okay, so these ground stations are used to track the space objects, including the space debris. Okay, and then in the ISRO, they're having so much of schemes like debris tracking and the orbital prediction center. They will be tracking the space debris in the Earth's orbit using ground-based radar and optical telescopes. And also ISRO spacecraft collision avoidance subsystem, they will detect and also avoid the collision. Okay, so for an example, when the two satellites are about to collide, they will make the indication that these two are about to get collide. So they will make the positioning of the one of the satellite, and though the collisions can be avoided. So instead of making the two objects to be collide like this, by changing the direction, it will be collide. It will avoid the collision. And it also uses a thrusters to maneuver strategies. What is called thrusters? Okay. Thrusters means it is an object in a satellite in which we are going to give some kind of indication to move the position of the satellite. And also the globally United Nations, the Defense Department of Defense also monitors and debris with the Space Surveillance Network, and also ESA also they are making the report on the every year about the how debris in the environment, and NASA is also responsible for understand and mitigate and also the remove the space debris, and also space awareness program of the UK. They are working to track the space debris. This is the amount of debris. Okay. During the period of 1960s to 2020, we can able to understand that the rocket-related debris, rocket debris, and also the payload, okay, which is available in the satellite. Okay, and then fragmentation debris, and payload. Payload is the amount of weighted substances. So each and every year, the amount of debris is keep on increasing. And what is the amount of debris is available across the Earth's orbit? Some debris may be 10 centimeter and larger. It is just like your cricket ball. Okay. So 10 centimeter and larger, there are more than 36,500 objects. Okay. When you talk about on the 1 centimeter and larger, 1 centimeter means like it's very small, tiny balls. That is more than 1 billion objects. When you talk about on the 1 mm, 1 mm means it's just like a sugar powder, 1 mm as small thickness. Okay. There is more than 130 million objects and greater than 1 m, 5,400 objects. So this collectively of the different sizes and different numbers, the debris are available. So what are the hazards by the debris? Okay, so this will create some kind of damage to the satellites, robotic missions, human spaceflight, spacecraft, and resulting in the loss, and even resulting in the loss of a life. Okay, so we want to overcome this debris. Okay, for an example, if a small piece of debris, if it strikes on a aircraft, spacecraft, what will happen? It will release some kind of radiation and harmful chemicals. And also, it can even break down the impact from a different size of debris. Okay, an impact from objects on even greater than 110 centimeter diameter, it will be equal to a TNT blowing up. That is, a large amount of collisions will take place. That is, for an example, if you are taking the debris of 1 centimeter and 10 centimeter, if these two things are colliding, it is just equivalent to hitting a truck on a highway. You just imagine when the truck is hitting on the highway, okay, the same effect you can able to experience when the two debris of 1 centimeter and the 10 centimeter of debris. Okay, so that is enough to destroy the entire satellites. The satellite will be entirely destroyed. This is the hazard of a debris. For an example, you can able to see this is one of the satellites by a Canada. Okay, this is a solar panel. Okay, there's a solar panel which will be using to power the satellites. For an example, a small debris was hitted over here. Okay, so in the subsystem that is in the space, a small debris was hitted. So when you zoom and see, this is the impact. You can able to see this is the impact of the debris. It was created a hole, and it was affected the entire duct for this region. This is the hazard of debris. And you can ask a question whether the debris can fall on the earth. Okay, so sometimes what will happen, an average of 200 to 400 pieces, the space debris can fall. Okay, a study from Canada University, they say that there will be more than 10% chance that even one or more people can be killed by space debris in a near decade. Okay, so the future we may see more number of peoples will die because of the space debris. Okay. So there has been numerous incidents of the debris falling from the space on Earth. Okay. Some debris are noticed, some debris are not unnoticed. This is one of the debris which has fallen on the Earth. But fortunately, it was not fallen on the humans. It was fallen on the desert, or it has fallen on the forest, and it has fallen on the sea. Okay. Like this, the debris will fall. Suddenly, if an object falls on the person of this kind of thickness, of this kind of size, obviously he will die. Okay, this is the effect of debris. What is the solutions for the debris? One of the solution is called passivation. So passivation means we are going to deactivating the satellite power systems and batteries and venting and the electrode propellant to reduce the risk of explosion in the future. For an example, when the two satellites are colliding, when two working satellites are colliding, okay, when both the satellites are working, when both the satellites are colliding, then the explosion will be very higher. The risk will be very higher. Okay, so what we are going to do when the satellites which are not working, we have to deactivate the risk of explosion in the future. This is one of the solutions. And there are so many solutions that is launching to capture. We have to launch a spacecraft exclusively to capture the space debris. Second one, using the natural force of gravity and solar radiation to deorbit the space debris, to move away the space debris. We have to sweep away the space debris. And we have to make use of this radar and the tracking systems to identify the collisions to the spacecraft or space debris. And also decommissioning the satellites, okay, to make the, as per the mitigation guidelines given by United Nations. And we also make some standards for the design of spacecraft. Okay, so that will minimize the amount of space debris they create. These are some of the solutions to avoid the space debris. If you have any questions, you can ask me now for next few minutes. If you have any questions, you can ask. Next, we are going to see what is meant by a satellite. Okay, before we are moving on to the next on satellite, you can ask some questions if you have any questions.
Sir,
Uh,
sir, you're telling that some satellites or piece of space gems is going to be on Earth too.
I can't get you what you're saying. Can you speak?
Sir,
Uh,
if an inactive satellite is falling on Earth means before coming to Earth it will burn, no sir. How?
Obviously, if for an example, some explosion, if it occurs, if it burns, means okay, no problem. Even if it after burning, the objects will obviously will fall on the earth. Okay. If it is falling on the sea or forest, okay. But if it falls on the humans, what will happen? That is our concern. Any more questions? Can we go to satellite now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know who he is?
No, sir.
No. Okay. It's just a funny picture. We are moving on to the satellite. Okay. We are moving on to the satellite parts. So this particular thing, just a minute. Okay. I can move on to this satellite. So normally the satellites is one of the objects, okay, that moves around our celestial body in our solar system. Okay. We all know that, not only the satellite that is made by a human, we also want to understand that the moon is a satellite to the earth. Okay. So we know that, the earth along with other planets, okay, they are also called as the satellites. Okay. For earth, we can call earth, according to the sun, earth is a satellite. Okay. For earth, moon is a satellite. Okay. So satellite is a common term. Okay. A satellite is a common term. We define the satellite as an object, okay, that rotates the solar system. Okay. We say that Earth is a satellite for a sun. Planets are the satellite for the sun, and moon is a satellite for the Earth. Okay. So we know that, in our Earth, we are using some satellite. We are going to launch the satellites like Chandrayaan, okay, 1, 2, 3 versions. We are launching these satellites for variety of purposes. Normally, Chandrayaan is launched, okay, to understand the behavior of moon. Okay. But most of the countries, they are sending the satellites, okay, for one particular application, one common application. That common application is called communication. What is meant by communication? Communication means, for an example, if I'm going to use a mobile phone, we normally call it as a cell phone. Okay. So whenever we talk about on cell phone, the communication of the cell phone is completed with the help of these satellites. How it is happening, I will tell you with help of some kind of images. Okay. Let us take that. This is called as your Earth. This is our Earth. Okay, Mother Earth. Okay. Now we can able to understand this is the way how the satellite will look like. So this is called as a satellite, and the two things is called as the power. which will provide the power to the satellite. We normally talk it as a solar panels. Sometimes these kind of satellites, they will rotate either in a circular way. This is the way how the satellite is rotating, circular path. Okay. Sometimes what will happen, the satellites can rotate in the elliptical path like this. Okay. They are not rotating in the circular. This is called the shape of the ellipse. Elliptical way, the satellites are rotating across the earth. This is called as a satellite. We understood what is meant by satellite and how it is rotating around the earth. The rotation may be either by circular or by elliptical. And now we can able to understand that this is the center point of the earth. Okay. Now let us say that this is called as a satellite, and this center point of the earth is called as the geocenter. Geocenter means that is the central thing which connects my center of the earth. We will normally call it as the equator. Okay, equator. Okay, so this center point of the earth connects to the center point of your satellite. That is called as your geocenter, and the rotation of the satellite across the earth is called as the orbital plane. Orbit. Okay, the plane in which it circulates. And now we can able to understand what does the satellite. Now let us say that this is the earth. Okay, this is the earth. This is the center point of the earth, which I normally call the center part of the earth is called as a geocenter. Geo means it is called earth. Okay, geo. Okay, that is a geographical. Okay, we can able to understand this is the top layer of the earth. So this is, we call it as the height above the earth. The satellite is positioned the height above the earth. So this height may be 5,000 miles above the earth. 5,000 miles above the earth. Okay, and also the radius of the earth is about normally 6,373 kilometers whenever we are considering the radius of the earth. So we should understand what is the height the satellite or position. For an example, when the India is sending a satellite, I want to make a position of the satellite. Let us say that this is the position of the satellite. Now the satellite will move this particular orbit. Okay, so I want to clarify that what is the position and what is the orbital rotation of this particular satellite. Now you can able to understand that. Okay, there are two different kind of things. Okay, one is called apogee, one is called perigee. So apogee and perigee means, okay, so it is the distance what you're going to measure the distance of the earth with a satellite. So when a satellite is very nearer to the earth, okay, you consider this one, this is your earth, this is a satellite. So when a satellite is very nearer to the earth, we normally call it as a perigee. The name is given as a perigee. When the earth and the satellite is much more far away, okay, so the satellite is much more far away from the earth, we call it as a apogee. Okay, so perigee and apogee are the terms which we normally use to understand the distance between your earth and as well as your satellite. Okay. Now let us talk about on the period. Okay, so here is the angle of inclination. Okay, and let us talk about on this other things. Okay, what is the angle of elevation? Now let us say this is your earth, this is your earth, okay, and this is your satellite, okay, and this is called as your antenna, earth station antenna. So this earth station I am also called as a ground station. So which is located in the earth, it is called as a ground station. For an example, you are talking with your mobile phone, okay, you are making a call, to a friend. Okay, so now the call to the friend, it is connected to your earth station. From the earth station it reaches to the satellite. From the satellite it reaches the another earth station, and from it reaches your friend. This is the way how the communication is established. Now, what is the role of a satellite? Satellite receives the signal from you and it delivers the signal to your friend. Okay. Normally, we should not say that, whenever you're using a mobile phone, okay, this is your mobile phone, this is your friend mobile phone. The communication is not made from your mobile phone to his mobile phone. How the communication takes place from your mobile phone to the earth station, and from earth station to your satellite, from the satellite to the other Earth station, and then to your friend's mobile. This is the way how the satellite plays a very important role. As I already mentioned you, satellites are used for various purposes. One major purpose is communication, using your mobile phones, using your landlines. And second one is television broadcasting, radio broadcast. And we normally call it as a satellite is useful for researching in the moon. We call it as a Chandrayaan. And then we talk about on the geosynchronous orbits like a LEO and MEO and GEO, and these things we normally already we have discussed. Okay. Now let us move on to the other pictures. Like let us talk about on the position coordinates about the angle of elevation. Okay. How the communication between the satellite takes place. Okay. So here it is called as a transmitting station. Okay. Whenever I'm sending a signal, for an example, you're talking to your friend, okay, that information is given to the transmitting station. This is called as the ground station number one. This is called as a ground station number two. Okay, so my signal will be transmitted to the satellite. Okay, using the thing called uplink. Uplink is called as my signal is uplinked to the satellite. From the satellite, it is given to the downlink to the ground station. That is called the receiving station. This receiving station is connected to your what is your respondent, your friend. Okay, this is the way how the mobile phone communication works. Now you understood that how the satellite. So the satellite will consisting of a receiver. This satellite is consisting of a receiver that picks up your signal and it amplifies it and translate to the other frequency, and then it send it to the receiver. This is called as your working of a normal satellite. For this purpose only, many countries or many agencies who provide the mobile phone communication, they are sending the satellites because we need satellites. Now you tell me whether satellites are required or not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So we require the satellites. Okay. For that purpose, we need to move on to this particular thing of your satellites. Okay. So where we can able to understand that kind of communication will be made in such a thing that normally we call it as a satellite, and then these kind of information is moreover being required in order to understand about this thing. And then we talk about on the how the transmission, the receiver consisting of so much of components. Okay. Now these things I can skip or I can share this presentation to you. Okay. Now I move on to what are the components will be available in the satellite. Okay. What are the building components? I will tell you now. What are the building components it will be available in the satellite? Okay. Okay. That is called as a subsystem. Okay. So this is the central block diagram of your satellite. Okay. In the satellite, I shown you there will be a solar panels. Okay. This is the solar panels are used in order to give the power. Okay. And in the satellite, we'll be having a charger, battery, and then power conditioners, and then converters and inverters in order to provide the power. Okay. So for the complete satellite, we want to give the power. Next one, okay. For an example, you are talking to your friend. Okay. So through the antenna, okay, your signal will be going over here. It is given to the receiver. Okay, the satellite is receives. Okay, and it translates the frequency, and then it transmits, and then it will receive to the communication antenna. So this will take care about your communication part. Okay, so a satellite consisting of so many different blocks. One block is used to give the power. One block is used for the communication, and one block is for propulsion. You can able to see there are two things are available. One is called thruster and one is called the AKM device. Okay, so we call it as a thruster and the AKM. For an example, if I want to control the satellite from the earth, I want to control the satellite, I will give the instruction to these devices. And from the earth, I want to give the instruction to only these components. So these components will change the position of the satellite. I cannot give the control for all the other things. I can give the control for this, just the thruster and the AKM. and I can also give some control signal to the other antennas as well. But in order to change the position or propulsion or the attitude control, I want to give the signals to these external elements. This is the normal block diagram of a satellite. Okay, so by this I can able to conclude my presentation. Okay, so this is the way how the ground station will look like, the different kind of components and circuits which has been available, like an antenna. Okay, so whatever the information you're talking to your mobile phones, it will be given to the antenna subsystem, and then it will be consisting of your transmission, and will consisting of a receiving, and then it is given to the satellite, and then it will be receiving. Okay, so that's all from my end for the today presentation. Now it is open for questions. If you have any questions, we can.
So what's the full form of
Huh?
Geo? What's
Huh?
the full form of Geo?
Geo, that is called as a geo Earth orbit. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Geo Earth orbit, GEO.
Geostationary equatorial orbit, geo. Okay, so I will put in your chat box. Okay, so I can able to put in your chat box the answers. Okay, for the questions what you have asked. Okay, you can able to see in your chat box the answers for geo, leo, and meo. So geo means low Earth orbits, meo means medium Earth orbit, and geo means the geostationary equatorial orbits. Okay, so these are the three different forms. So I've given in your chat box.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, sending rockets and satellites because sir, like planets, we're searching for planets that after 2 trillion years our Earth will be blasted, sir. So they're sending rockets for other planets.
Okay.
Sir, when we are sending rockets to other planets, or not only Earth, other planets will also be affected, sir.
Yes, obviously. Whenever we are making it as a trash, it will be affected everywhere. Okay. So whenever we are sending, we have to make some kind of precautions and some kind of things we have to take care of. Okay. You please sit. You please sit. Okay. You can sit. Okay, so we have to take some precautions, and we have to take some kind of things, to avoid the failures or catastrophic effects that has been occurring in the Earth's surface. Okay, so sending a satellite is not a big thing, but the meanwhile, we have to maintain it. We have to avoid the pollutions, and we have to track it whether it is working or not, and we have to see whether the subsystems are properly working, and we have to see whether the satellites are properly positioned. Okay, so when we are taking all these measures, there will be no harm. Okay, when we are not seeing all these things, it will be harmful. Okay.
Sir, I have another question.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Sir, if we send the space mission to with a rocket to the space, and
Okay.
that we have a vacuum,
Uh,
and from the vacuum we pull all the space junk,
okay.
and
That yeah.
certain parachute boosters to again bring it to Earth, sir.
Yes, yes. That also one of the solutions, pa. We
Sir,
can use that one. Yes.
and if we have laser to soft land, also we can stop water pollution, sir.
Yes, pa. Yes. Yes.
Sir, but
Good
it's
idea.
called out in space. We don't have air, sir.
Yes.
If we use vacuum, means it's possible, or we need to fix oxygen tanks and.
Yeah, we have to fix the oxygen tank also. Okay, in order to make it properly. If not, means what will happen? How the vacuum will absorb, because we are having so much of elements. And if you collect all the debris through your vacuum tube, where you will collect it, where you will store it, and how will you bring back that to the earth?
Yeah, also, sir.
Yes.
So it will work, sir, because we are doing a model on this.
Okay, you are doing a model on.
This
Prototypes, sir.
Prototypes, sir.
Yes. So for prototype, you can make a vacuum, and you can give us an idea that you are sending a separate satellite substation. Satellite, you design a satellite, and from the satellite you are sending a vacuum, and you are collecting the debris, and you are collecting, and then you are returning it back to the earth, or else you are going to safely dispose that debris.
Sir, we had a plan that we will crush it over there and itself bring that there can be chances to explosion, sir, because some
Okay.
tanks are being
Okay, so there I'm having one more idea. That is, there in the space itself, we are going to segregate the debris. Segregate. What is meant by segregation? Segregation means which are the objects are very tiny. I'm going to segregate depending upon its size and depending upon the thing. And I'm going to segregate which are the items are working and non-working. And I'm going to segregate which are the things are exploded and non-explosion. And I'm going to segregate that which are the things which I can able to reuse or not. And I'm going to also segregate that what are the items I'm going to bring back, or which can be safely I can able to dispose it. By doing this, I want to make, because I cannot say that the debris will consist only of a dust particles. The debris may be a battery. The debris may be a fuel. The debris may be a solar panel. The debris may be a broken wires. The debris may be a broken boxes. Okay, I want to segregate, and the disposable idea should be based upon the material which you are going to dispose.
okay, sir. So thank you for your idea, sir.
Okay.
So does magnetic force work on space?
Magnetic force, it will not, because how, if you are putting a magnetic force means even the spacecraft which you are traveling with, that also will be affected. Okay, so the magnetic force will be, there will be some magnetic force, but the meanwhile that force of attraction and the repulsion will vary. So we cannot able to, your idea is okay, we are using the magnetic force, we can able to do that. Okay, but for an example, there is no smaller objects, we are having multiple millions of objects. How can you use a magnetic effect in order to attract all the items? It is practically not possible.
Sir, and I have another doubt, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if there are many satellites, they plan on the orbit and only sending, no, sir. If
Yes.
one satellite, inactive satellite is in one orbit, so they don't send the another satellite on the same orbit because there can be chances to
Yes. Before sending the satellite, the people, they have to obtain the permission for positioning the appropriate altitude and the things. So the people from the space center, they will keep on monitoring that where they are going to position the satellites. So whichever the satellite that was positioned already in that particular place, they will not get permission. It's just like an airport. Okay. In the airport, if your flight is standing there, means the next flight has to wait for a while until the other flight is moved some distance.
So,
Okay.
so that means every satellite and inactive satellites will be in one orbit, no, sir. So
Yeah, it will.
how
It will,
sir?
yeah, it will be in the orbit, but it will be in the different positions. Positions, because the space will be having more number of space. Okay, that space means I'm telling about for positioning our satellites. Okay, so we can able to position appropriately depending upon the things.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Uh,
sir, do we have any monitoring mission sent by ISRO and NASA to the space which can monitor the space junk, sir?
no. They are using only the radars and telescopes. Okay. So radars and telescopes, and also the video what I have sent to you. So only those things are using the debris for that thing. Because what is the use? Final question is, what is the use of looking after these debris? That is the thing, because they all involved in communication and also some research activities on the moon and the thing. So they are giving some least importance for the debris. But the thing is that day by day the debris is increasing. Now only the importance of debris is increasing. So in the future, they will be sending some additional satellites or additional spacecraft in order to overcome the debris.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
So why can't we have plants instead of oxygen tanks?
Why can't we?
Have plants instead of oxygen tanks.
Plants, how the plants will grow there? Where is the soil for that? The plants, whether it requires oxygen or carbon dioxide.
So let's have oxygen tanks, sir,
Okay.
for a few days or something. And when
Ah.
the oxygen will get over, and plants started to produce oxygen, sir.
But plants for growth, they require the carbon dioxide, right? How the plants will be alive?
Will die the plant.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
So
Thank
thank you so
thank you,
much,
ma'am. Thank you so much.
session, sir. It was really useful, and whatever the videos and photos that you have shared with the children,
Okay.
I was having a walkthrough on the whole session. It was
Okay.
good, sir. Thank you so much for your time and effort.
Okay. Ma'am, can you make the students to stand all the backside? I want to take a photo for the students. You all sit, all sit, all sit. Okay, all sit. Because standing, all sit, all sit. Okay. Okay. All sit. Okay. Okay. I can see only 6 students.
So two of them, they were on leave today, sir.
Okay. So please look at the camera. I will share these photographs along with my, if you need my presentation, I will send you.
You also join.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Cheese.
Cheese.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.